You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha. Represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris, where I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. Hope everybody's looking forward to pleasant 4th of July weekend to spend with your loved ones. So make the best of it, because we are living in our last days, and you just never know what obstacles you're going to be facing in this life. So nevertheless, I did an upload on this thing last week when I talked about the Jeremy Brown situation, and all of y'all should be very aware of it because it has gone viral. Everybody has talked about it. Basically, he took it upon himself to argue with this woman at a hot dog stand, and due to a argument or disagreement, he threatened to hit her. And not only did he threatened to hit the 35-year-old mother, he actually struck her not once but twice. And in result of that, her son came to her defense. Her 14-year-old son came to her defense, and that is when he grabbed a weapon and decided to unalive Mr. Jeremy Brown, who righteously so deserved it due to the fact that he was physically attacking his mother. There was no one there that was willing to come to their aid, and he had to do what he had to do, because the situation could have very well turned around and his mother could have died, depending on how hard he could have really hit her. He did cause a lot of damage, but it could have been far worse, where she could have been the one who lost her life. So either way it went, the situation was very unnecessary and uncalled for. And what ended up happening was the charges was dropped against her. They initially had charged her with his death, but after viewing the DA, the prosecutors, and the courts had basically evaluated the video footage and saw that she was basically standing her ground, so they dropped the charges from her and her son. So once they were notified that the charges was dropped, they decided to take it upon themselves and further pursue the situation with a lawsuit, stating that they were illegally arrested, that they should have never been arrested due to the fact that it was a self-defense and it was protecting themselves. However, like I said on the last video, when it comes to situations where somebody has been unalived, most of the time there's going to be some type of arrest made until they evaluate the situation and get all the evidence that they need. Then they'll make the decision, okay, we can go ahead and let this person go. This individual was well within their right. So even though the mother and the son felt the need to defend themselves and that they shouldn't have been arrested at all due to having to defend themselves, it was very much necessary due to the fact that they had to see the case all the way out and make sure it also was a safety measure at hand. Had they not arrested them, a family member could have came back and finished unaliving them. It could have went several other ways, but nevertheless, for the most part, everybody is supportive of Carlisha Hood, the mother, and her 14-year-old son. And you have others on the other hand who are still caping for Jeremy Brown, and especially his family, who I'm getting ready to talk to y'all about as of this point in time, because honey, they put on the most ratchetest hood funeral for Mr. Jeremy Brown. So for those of you who haven't been keeping up with the hood shenanigans, man killed for beating Carlisha Hood had Ratchet funeral, and these are basically the details on his homegoing. So the funeral for Jeremy Brown was held yesterday, and members of Jeremy's family came out to send him a farewell, and the family members had a whole lot to say. They posted pics on social media of Jeremy's funeral. The family posted up a life-size photo of the alleged criminal, and women from the neighborhood took pictures as they twerked on it. So you had women that was actually bending over, twerking in front of Jeremy Brown's life-size photo. and basically they are celebrating his death as if he went down in a very pleasant manner. Next, member of Jeremy's family wore custom t-shirts, y'all, with his face on it, and you wouldn't believe what the caption said. The caption said, "Knockout King." Jeremy was seen with punching the 35-year-old mom before being killed in self-defense. So they're basically glorifying this man's actions by calling him the Knockout King. So of course they're definitely displaying they have no remorse for what Jeremy Brown has done, and they basically are insinuating that he was in the right. For them to glorify his behavior, they're basically co-signing that what he did was right. So they also posted pictures of Jeremy's casket, and you could tell the casket was very expensive. A lot of money was put into the casket. So on top of the picture of the casket, there was a caption added to the photo that said, "Cuz who the F needed to go fund? Not us." So basically letting them know, hey, we didn't need no GoFund money. We was able to send our abusive woman beating cousin out in style. So we didn't need none of y'all funds, which I didn't see none of y'all decline it either for y'all to say y'all didn't need it. Y'all never came back and debunked it and said, hey, don't say nothing to GoFundMe, we're good. I didn't hear anything about that. So moving along, finally one of his cousins spoke out explaining how she and the family felt, and that they explained that they are happy for their haters' support. She claimed that the family is now famous. So basically they are proud of the notoriety that they are getting. And my thing is, I guess you'll have your self-esteem, your dignity has to be very low if you are proud to finally be known for something, off of the note of your cousin physically attacking a grown woman. So I guess bad fame is better than no fame at all. And again, this is that hood mentality of being known, even if it's in result of being known for something very negative, as long as you're known. So Hood was released from the jail on Monday. So at the end of the day, you know, Carlisa was the one who ended up on top, because no charges were she didn't basically, she all charges was dropped against her, you know, and her son didn't get charged as well when he was the one who actually unalived the individual. So either way the cookie crumbles, Carlisa Hood, she came out on top because she didn't get unalived. She might have got injured, but she didn't get unalived. Not to mention, she gets way more sympathy and empathy, way more compared to Jeremy Brown. And the biggest part about it was the law actually recognized it, which is why they allowed her and her son to go free. So rather, if you have that male chauvinistic attitude that women deserve what they get, the law didn't see it that way. Or in his family's case, y'all thinking because that's y'all blood and that's y'all family, that he didn't deserve what he got. Had he not been unalived, he would have been facing some charges. So either way, Jeremy Brown was not going to go out on a clean slate. So I say all of that to say this, is that the black community is just so dysfunctional till it's not even funny. We glorify all of the wrong things, and it just definitely displays how broken the black community is, because I've been reading a lot of comments and just seeing how a lot of men were proud of this black woman getting attacked, basically because she's a black woman. Because, you know, ever since, and I'm not going to say this the main reason, but social media has made it worse for black women to not be protected, because we're already being told that we're not worthy. We are the bottom of the totem pole, where it's already this narrative being pushed about black women like we're garbage, we're disposable, we're discardable. So anytime a black woman gets into this type of situation, she doesn't get a lot of empathy or sympathy, because remember, we're told that we're mouthy, we talk too much, we loud, we ignorant. So a lot of things that happen to us, there's this narrative that we brought it upon ourselves, not understanding that if it was your mama your sister, a woman you loved and you cared about, a woman who respects herself, then your outlook on it may be a little different. But because, there's this negative narrative about black women are ratchet and ghetto, the moment this woman starts going off because she's angry that this young man who is young enough to be her son, and she's going off on him for how he's handling her and disrespecting her. And as a black woman, you're not supposed to do that. The moment we get loud, it's automatically she's ratchet. There's nothing about, okay, this woman is upset. She's a human being. She's just defending herself. She's emotional right now. I don't know if that rage would have been the same had it been a non-colored woman. I don't know if that rage would have been the same. But something about when it comes to us, black women, we deserve whatever we get. And this is the reason why I've been stressing to a lot of black women in a lot of my content over the years. We have to be careful how we get ourselves in situations. And it's this thing of black women, we automatically have this defense mechanism because we're so used to being attacked. We're so used to people coming for us. And the truth is, some of us do bring it upon ourselves. I've seen some ratchet sisters get out of pocket. I've seen some ratchet women step up on grown men, cussing them out, belittling them. And in some cases, it's warranted for a woman to get handled and put in her place. But in situations like this, it definitely was not warranted. So women, all of us who've been in the social media world, a lot of us who are subscribers, who've been hanging out in certain channels and stuff, hell, we've been getting verbally attacked just in the chat rooms, just on the platforms and the panels. So the bad part about this, y'all, is that you have these attack dogs, these egotistical women hating attack dogs who get off on seeing women get disrespected. So my concern is, I don't have a problem with men who do content on ratchet women, men who come for women, and I get it. You have some men, it strokes their ego that they can encourage and inspire other men not to respect black women, not to acknowledge black women, not to even deal with black women. They get their jollies off on that because it's a saying that hurt people. And a lot of people, most audiences, they support whoever supports their pain. So if you are to a black man who don't get along with black women, the moment you find a black man that speaks narratives against black women, of course you're going to cash out, of course you're going to donate. No different than as a black woman, if you're an anti-black male and you hate black men, of course you're going to rock with the sisters that's dragging black men and dogging black men, because you are a bitter black woman yourself and you're angry with black men because of the choices you made, the baby daddy you chose, or whatever the case is. So basically, we all follow, we only represent and support those who support our pain and who support our blame. So I get that, but the part that scares me is that you have these abusive men, and I used to work in the county jail where I had to be an authority over abusive men. When they hear this type of message, and I'm not saying it's all social media fault, it's all Kevin Samuels or whatever, Red Pill Raging Brothers or whatever, I don't know, whatever the case may be. I'm not saying it's these guys who promote that black women should be treated less than worthy is their fault. Because at the end of the day, these men are grown men. They make their own decision. So I can't blame the fresh and fits and all of this and that. But I will say that they do play a part to a certain degree, because it's men like Jeremy Brown who hear these narratives, and what it does is it boosts up their egotistical mentality that women don't have to be respected. And I really wish there was some guys, listen, there's nothing wrong with preaching to, I don't have a problem with black men preaching to black men about you need to have confidence, choose better, stop picking up ratchet women, stop impregnating women who are not on your level. I don't have a problem with that. But what I would appreciate if some men coach other black men on how to deal with their anger and how to not allow confrontation with black women to put them in a decision in which they too could end up unalived. It's nothing wrong with preaching what you preach, but you have to have a balance. It can't always be about black women ain't no good, black women is trash, black women is garbage, therefore you don't have to respect them. And if you do respect them, you a simp, you weak. What is wrong with telling men how to choose better and pick better, but at the same time to keep their anger and hostility towards black women under control? What is wrong with one or two brothers, coming out and saying, look here, we know these sisters ain't our cup of tea, and you may not even be intercessors, but guess what? Ain't no woman worth you losing your life, because you may approach a woman who may have a black man who do care for her, who will get you in order. And see, that's the thing. Some of these brothers ain't thinking about, y'all so used to us not being protected, you think that we are unprotected, and that is not always the case. That is why this young man came after this Jeremy Brown the clown and unalived him, because he, unlike the rest of these guys out here who think black women don't need to be protected, he protected his black mother. So let's not get it twisted and think because it's so much narratives being pushed that black women don't need to be respected. It's men out here who do respect their black queens and will treat them as such. Now, all women don't need to be respected and protected. Like I said, and I'll say it again, you got some ratchet ones, you got some ignorant ones, you got some women that are very reckless at the mouth. I know, because I'm a black woman. I've dealt with black women who was reckless at the mouth to me as a black woman. I've been disrespected by black women. I have been tried by black women more than my own race. A matter of fact, I have had more issues with black women than I have had with black men, than I have had with non-colored individuals. And I'm just going to keep it a buck. Every problem I ever had, friendship, on the job, off the job, has been with a black woman, but it has not been enough to taint me to where I don't feel like I got to respect any of them, So all of us could hold grudges because we all have been tried and disrespected in some shape or form. It's no different if you've had a bad experience with a white person and you're going around here hating all white people because you've had this one negative experience and you never got any psychological help or anything to change your outlook on that. And some people are safe in their hate, and I say this all the time. And what I mean by safe in the hate, it means that they are comfortable with hating a certain gender, because what hate does, hate gives you a false sense of empowerment. And as long as you feel like you hate something, you don't feel like you have to respect what you hate, because hate gives you the permission not to respect, not to acknowledge what you hate. So a lot of us feel safe in hate. For instance, if I hate black men, that gives me the sense of I don't have to respect them because I hate them. I don't have to like them because I hate them. I can talk down on them because I hate them. Hate is nothing but a gateway to disrespect. And looking at this whole situation, seeing Jeremy Brown the clown, seeing how his actions had led up to this, looking at his Facebook page, seeing how egotistical his whole attitude, he's just as ratchet as a lot of these black women out here. He was a ratchet black man, and I would say that. He was a ratchet black man. And the proof is in the pudding, because it displayed on the day of his homecoming. Listen, you can learn a whole lot about a person during a funeral. When you go to a person's funeral, it gives you a clear indication of how that person lived their life. For instance, I was so bored as hell the other day, I looked up, don't ask me why I was looking. Don't even ask me. But I was looking at this funeral for this pimp by this name of I think the pimp name is his name Pimp Boo or Pimp Baby Boo. I don't know. But he had a home going, and all the pimps was there. All the pimps was there, like Pimp Magic Don Juan, Kenny Red, all the famous pimps who we kind of know or heard of. And he was murked. Somebody unalived him. And they even had his son dressed like a pimp, I guess, as a way of keeping the tradition of what the father was. But basically, looking at the funeral taught me a whole lot about this guy. Seeing that there was more pimps than family members pretty much let me know this is what this man did for a living. This is what he loved. This is what he enjoyed. His mother was there, boo-hoo crying, all over her son, righteously so, because she lost her son. But at the same time, I'm like, lady, your son made a living off of using other women. And the fact that she was up there giving speeches and praising him and acting as if her son, lived a pleasant and righteous life, acting as if he did not represent an immoral lifestyle. But it's besides the point. But the point that I'm making is that you could tell a whole lot about a person based on who all attends their funeral, and in the energy of the funeral. And the energy of Jeremy Brown the Clown's funeral was that it was a lot of ratchetness. Women twerking on his life-size poster board, which meant they honored and treasured him just that much. It takes money into buying a poster board. That takes time. They even made shirts calling him the Knockout King, basically celebrating his death. Not understanding, not looking at the whole fact of what caused the death. That part shouldn't be celebrated. But because I guess the family is so embarrassed or mad that everybody's talking so reckless, I guess in the back of their mind, they're like, okay, we're going to make sure they go all out. Let's get them something to really talk about. We're going to make sure our cousin, our brother, our daddy leave here good. So the hell with how everybody else feels or thinks. We going to make sure he leave out right. And the bottom line is, it don't matter about the funeral. This man's legacy is forever tainted. That video is going to be there for generations and generations to come. His daughters are going to see that. His grandchildren are going to see that. His great-grandchildren. They're going to know their grandfather left here and was unalive because he had physically assaulted another woman. That legacy, no funeral, no t-shirts, no life-size poster board, that's not going to erase that. That's not going to change how he left here. And the point of the matter is, he is gone. He is not coming back. So y'all can celebrate and put up this hood front and glorify him like he's Martin Luther King Jr. The fact is, he's gone, and he's left two daughters here that y'all going to have to help raise and take care of, because he's not going to be here to do it. Meanwhile, the people who he harmed, even though they had to go through their shame and embarrassment, they are still alive and well. Carlisha Hood, so far, plead the blood over her. She's still here, and her son is still here. So y'all can celebrate it all y'all want, but it's going to always burn in the back of y'all mind knowing that the people who unalived him, they're still here, living and breathing, while Jeremy Brown the Clown is buried 6-8 feet under, or however many feet under. And the thing about it is, I'm sure, and I've always been a spiritual. I've always had a deep spiritual insight on things. So if I sound a little weird to y'all, some of y'all will get me and some of y'all ain't. But this is from a spiritual perspective. I truly believe Jeremy Brown was not ready to go out in the fashion in which he went out. I don't believe it. I don't think for 1 second he was ready. That bullet entered his body so fast. He didn't see it coming. Because based off of his criminal record, Jeremy Brown the Clown has been a nuisance to society. A straight nuisance. Matter of fact, I'm a dig up his criminal record For those of you who didn't catch my post, my community tab, I put it in the community tab if y'all want to see it yourself later. But in the meantime, I'm going to read these charges to y'all so y'all can see what type of individual he was. Starting from 2018. Driving, okay, we'll leave the mediocre stuff alone. But okay, gambling. Now I'll just go ahead and put everything so y'all could. I'll go ahead and attest to everything so y'all can just see his character. These are all the offenses committed in 2018. Driving 11 through 14 miles per hour above limit. We all speed, no big deal. Transporting, carrying alcohol or liquor somewhere. He was gambling. That's a different charge. Domestic battery in 2017. And order of protection in 2017. So, and disorderly conduct. So all kind of, no, 2014 he had disorderly conduct. Then 2017 somebody had to put out a restraining order of protection, and that same month they also put out a domestic battery, which proves this was in this man's character to be a violent, abusive individual. Going on, if my dates, I'm all over the place, y'all, forgive me. Because when I screenshotted this, I didn't screenshot it in a specific order. 2018, criminal trespass of property. So he was somewhere he shouldn't have been. He had another battery charge, October 2018. Weapon, felony possession, 2023 of January. Domestic battery, May 2012. Cannabis possession, 2007. Resisting a police officer, 2010. Aggravated assault against an officer, 2010. Robbery, armed with firearm, 2010 of December. Home invasion, December 2010. Domestic battery again, physical, October 2011. Armed robbery and aggravated robbery, which means he physically harmed someone in the midst of the robbery, 2008. Prohibited somebody from making a non-emergency call, May 2019. Aggravated robbery, 2 aggravated robberies while operating a vehicle while drunk in 2018. Driving too fast for conditions, 2018. Disorderly conduct again, engages in fighting or tumultuous conduct, November 2021. Possession of marijuana, no big deal, but November 2021, possession of cocaine, which makes me wonder if he is on some type of substance, which really makes him outrage, or either he sells it, I'm not sure. But all of these charges lets y'all know he was a nuisance to society. And again, I know a lot of y'all women haters, y'all can really care less because it was a woman who got assaulted, a black woman at that. But this just goes to show your daughter could have ended up having a child from this type of man. Your daughter could have ended up in a relationship with this kind of man. Your mom could have been at the grocery store and missing and pushed her buggy on this man's brand new Jordans, and he could have snapped. The women you love walk around men that are like this. Now keep in mind, it's thousands of Jeremy Browns that we walk around every day. Me, I never really knew how bad it was until I became a correctional officer, and seeing how a lot of these nice looking guys, clean cut, you know, all of them don't look like they homeless and been in a homeless shelter. A lot of these guys look nice, well dressed, and you know, they don't look like they are abusers. They don't have that abusive look. So I get it that a lot of y'all do not take it serious because it doesn't really affect you. But until it happens to your daughter or somebody you care about, then your outlook is different. For instance, let me tell y'all, I dated this guy back in the day, okay? And I'm gonna just call him Tim. I dated him back in the day. And I remember, you know, I was 15, 16 at the time. And I remember, you know, like a lot of these young women being in love and thinking, you know everything about being in love and about men. And I remember when I was dating this guy, and he was around my same age, and I just remembered him being very controlling and being very aggressive with me. He never put his hands on me, FY, grace of God. But I just remember he was very controlling. He didn't want me to go a lot of places. He always wanted me to call him. He acted more like my probation officer instead of my companion. And me being young and in love, I thought it was love. I didn't know it was a man being controlling and a man, being narcissistic. I didn't understand that. And I remember there was times, because of how I was being treated, I didn't want to go certain places with him. He wanted to invite me places with him and his family, and he would get upset when I would deny him of things. He would call me names and make me feel guilty and all of that because, it was more about his ego and his image. He wanted me to be around him, I guess, to prove to his boys and to stroke his own ego that when I tell her to do something, she gonna do it. Or if I, act up and get out of pocket with her, it'll scare her enough to where she's gonna do what I say. So I found myself in a whirlwind with this guy, and a part of me really wanted to break free, but because I caught myself being in love with him, and I lacked the maturity and experience on being able to deal with men on this type of level, I took way more than what I should have expected and tolerated. And even, my mom, a lot of people noticed my energy was different. My personality was different. I wasn't bubbly. I wasn't fun to be around. They just felt the spirit of me always feeling down. And, I didn't know how to pull myself out that rabbit hole. And my mother was the first one that noticed it. And she said, no, something ain't right. Every time you get around Tim, you act different. You act funny. Every time he calls you, your whole personality is just different. The man was abusing me emotionally and mentally, and I'm sure physically it would eventually got there. But so happened, my stepfather ended up getting custody of me for a while and my siblings because my mom had, had hardship. She was facing some very difficult times. So I ended up having to leave him and start a new life in New York, so God just fixed it because I didn't have the strength to leave the situation. He fixed it to where he put me in a situation in which I had no choice but to leave. So, we tried the long distance relationship thing and that didn't work out. I found out from other friends that was still living in the area that he was seeing other girls, dealing with other girls on me and stuff like that. So at that point, life took its course and I had to accept the fact that me and Tim just was not going to work, and it worked out. I ended up marrying a guy that was way more better to me. So that's just FYI to you guys and you women out there. You holding on to a Pinto when God probably trying to bless you with a Cadillac Escalade. I'm just saying. But anyway, years later, I found his Facebook page. And no, before that, years later, we have this page called the county jail website, where you can see people who's been locked up or incarcerated or cited, and their mugshot is actually on the website. Every county has that local county jail website. He pops up on the mugshot, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is Tim. He looks much older, put on way excessive weight. Let me tell you something. Y'all talk about how black women be picking up weight and we don't always look our best. Listen, some of you dudes be letting y'all self go too, okay? All of y'all don't be hitting that Planet Fitness. Y'all don't be taking them protein shakes. Y'all be getting them Burger King shakes, okay? Dude is big as a blimp, okay? He's gray. He looks a hot mess. I said, oh Lord, thank you for delivering me from that hot mess, okay? But I read the narrative report on him. How about the reason he got locked up was because he got into a physical fight with his daughter. Feel me on this. With his daughter, baby daddy. he got into a physical confrontation with his grandchild's father and brother. So he had gotten a physical confrontation, y'all, with one of his daughter's baby daddy and the baby daddy brother. Now, you a full grown man. We all in our 40s now. You physically getting into confrontation. As a matter of fact, the report said he got into a confrontation, a physical confrontation at the hospital during his first and only grandchild's birth. Okay? And basically, in the police report, it stated how, I guess he got upset when the baby daddy came up there. I guess, his daughter and the baby daddy have been having a lot of conflict. You know how these young people do when they have children. It's a lot of drama because a lot of them don't have the maturity or the mindset to be around here creating babies, but they do it anyway. And I guess he was angry at the fact, knowing all of what his daughter had gone through, and the baby daddy had the audacity to come up there, and righteously so, because that is his child. You may not like the baby daddy, but it's who your daughter chose. So I say all that to say this. A lot of men don't see nothing wrong with disrespecting women until it happened to a woman they care about. Now he's up here constantly posting on Facebook saying how his grandchild's father is a deadbeat, saying how he don't appreciate the fact how this young man is disrespecting his daughter. But I'm like, dude, let me take you back down memory lane, sweetie. You disrespected me and several other females. And that's why I tell these dudes, be careful with how you treat your woman, because especially if you have a daughter, you got men out here that are worse than you, more abusive than you, and your daughter may stumble across one of these no good dusty bandits. And now he's butthurt, that his daughter, who he treasures as a prize, he's seeing his grandchild, get caught up in some chaos. But you should have taught your daughter to stay away from guys like you. I don't get it. Some of these men out here treat women like peasants, but you want your daughter to be treated like a queen. You got to realize, listen, it's called the balances of the universe. The energy you put out there, it's going to come back on you. If it don't come back on you, it's going to come back on who you love. And it's the same thing. I tell these ladies the same thing. These women get sons and want they no good sons treated like a prize. They don't want the baby mama. They don't like when the baby mama take child support out on their sons. But I'm like, listen, when once upon a time when you had your son, you was making his daddy life miserable. Do you not forget that you was taking your son baby daddy down for child support? Now that another young woman who is just as greedy, just as malicious as you, just as money hungry as you, now you seeing your son get caught up dealing with women like you. It's funny how we see nothing wrong with how we treat people or do people in until it happens to someone we love, someone we treasure and care about. It's called karma. And karma is a dish that's going to be served, whether you want it served or not. So make sure you treat your children to avoid people that was like what you used to be or still is. But most of the time, the karma you produce, you're going to get back. So you used to drag everybody else's daughter, because I was a daughter. Don't be surprised if somebody drag your daughter. You, as women, you going around here dragging and abusing men who's other people's sons. You don't know if they got praying parents or what. It could come back on your son. Food for thought for some of you who may have needed that. You may have needed that word today, and I had to give you that word today. But Kevin Brown better be careful, cause I'm not Kevin Brown. What's Jeremy Brown the clown? Better be careful. You got not one, two, twin daughters. The karma that he produced, he better hope his daughters don't have to reap the seed that he has sown. And for the family who's up here supporting it, thinking it's cute, thinking there's nothing wrong with it. I will be careful with how I put my face out there, because everybody's not rocking with y'all like that. Don't lose your job over trying to prove a point that Jeremy the Brown the Clown ain't really went down. Okay, stop putting your face all over social media. Stop posting how happy you are to celebrate what he has done, because social media has become the curse and has become the demise. Once everybody sees your face, people may not want you working for them, representing their company, because listen, a lot of these companies ain't with that domestic violence. They ain't with it. So be careful as women, and this is the contradictory, because you have black women who will sit up here and support their sons, their cousins, their brothers who abuse women, but as soon as a man abuses them, these are the ones who want to call the police, call the law, get everybody involved. And I guarantee you, half of these women that are supporting him at some point in time have been abused themselves, or at some point in time will encounter abuse. And the sad part is, like I said, the black community is so dysfunctional. Y'all so busy gender hating that you don't know when to put it aside. This ain't the time to be talking about what black women deserve, what black men deserve. What we do deserve is to make sure our children that are coming up behind us when we are dead and gone, our children deserve to see black men and black women respect one another. Because guess what? The legacy you live, that's the same legacy you're going to leave behind. Just based off of Jeremy Brown the Clown's funeral, I already see the generational curse that's going to repeat itself. Thank God he ain't got a son. But the worst part is, it's men out there like Jeremy Brown the Clown who his daughters may marry, his daughters may end up encountering. Now, I'm not wishing bad on them, because my thing is this: karma going to do its work. We don't have to wish bad for nobody. We don't have to wish harm on nobody. Karma is going to work its mojo one way or another. But as far as Jeremy Brown's family, I empathize as far as y'all losing a loved one, because death is death. Okay, I don't empathize with why y'all lost him, because he brought that upon himself. And guess what? The majority of the world don't care either that he's gone. I really wish male content creators, y'all teach these black men how to keep their anger under control, because they're not going to listen to women like me just based off of my blackness or whatever. They're not going to respect that coming from me. All of you social male influencers, those of you who have huge channels, those of you who have a large following fan base, I challenge you to teach black men how to keep their anger under control, because they're not going to be able to keep challenging every one of us. Some of us somewhere got people who care about us, got people who love us. Something happens to me, my husband gonna find you and hunt you down. Okay, I got crazy people in my family. Teach your sons that they have to be mindful on how they challenge these women. Okay, some of these women got sons in the game. Some of these women got sons who not just gonna sit there like the 14-year-old Carlisa Hood's son didn't just sit there and watch his mama get attacked. Every young black man ain't soft, ain't weak. And the same thing with you black women. Stop getting yourselves in confrontation with men, arguing with them. Once you run across an ignorant man and you see he's talking you all kind of way, for him to be that bold and coming at you and he don't even know you, that's a red flag, ladies. This man is either a woman beater or he's on some type of drugs or something, or some type of influence, under some type of demonic influence. He's on demon time. Stop battling with these men. I need my sisters to stop battling with these men. Stop coming for them. Stop trying to get the last word. Even if you know you in the right, sometimes you got to back down even when you know you in the right. I'm not arguing with none of these guys out here. I refuse to do it. You go to the gas station, a man is rude and stand in front of you and cuts you off and pays for his gas. Don't listen. Chivalry don't exist no more, ladies. Stop looking for chivalry. Chivalry's been gone since the 1990s. That was the last of chivalry. It doesn't exist anymore. Even older women, I don't care if you're 40, 50, don't think these 12 or 13-year-old young men are automatically going to respect you because you are older. They're not going to look at you as a mother figure. Hell, some of them ain't even got mamas. Some of them don't even know their mamas. Or if they do have a mama, they probably don't even respect their own goddamn mama. So when you have these young men challenging you, going at you, it's just use your feminine energy. It's okay, sweetheart. You can go ahead, pay for your gas. It's okay. If you feel the need to hurry up and rush and get your food, go ahead and get it. I'd rather go home and be safe at the end of the day instead of trying to prove I'm a black woman, you're not going to disrespect me. I want to go home safely. My last final place ain't going to be at no Waffle House, ain't going to be at no gas station, all because I'm going to put this man in his place, or this little boy in his place. That's not my job. You have to think, put your pride, your ego aside. But as far as for Jeremy Brown, the Clown's family, I have nothing else to say on that funeral. That is the legacy that y'all have left for him, and he definitely left a detrimental legacy for himself. Leave y'all comment below. Let me know what y'all think about this. Do y'all think Jeremy the Clown really went out in style, or do y'all think this is a way of his family deflecting, being that they're catching so much heat for what Jeremy Brown has done, and they're trying to overshadow what he's done by making his funeral this stylish hood ratchet shenanigan? You know, what is y'all opinion on this? I'm interested in knowing what y'all got to say. So keep it clean, keep it respectful. You ain't got to agree with the content, but we're not going to do that disrespect over here, okay? Anybody who talking reckless to me or my subscribers, I will remove your comment and block you from my channel. So respect, put some respect on my channel, all right? So anyway, y'all, it is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha. I represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris, where I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. Before you leave, click that like button right now. Just make sure you click on that, hit it for me. I appreciate it. I am going to be going into membership mode soon. So those of you who've been rocking with me, if you want to continue to still keep supporting me, I would appreciate it. Love y'all. Y'all take care. And please have a safe 4th of July. Don't get in no drama, okay? Y'all take care.